Baz here, back with another YouTube video, and a topic I want to discuss today is the hard drives that's going to be in the next generation consoles. So I just want to have a wee discussion about that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, so let's get to it. So the two new consoles are coming out, and there's going to be two different hard drive sizes on them. So the Xbox Series X has a 1TB hard drive, and the new PlayStation 5 is going to have an 825GB hard drive as well. So my thoughts on this now. This is just a few things I've been thinking about, and I just wanted to talk about and share, and maybe get your feedback and comments from it as well. So when you're buying a hard drive, or you're getting a new console with a hard drive on it, and when you initially do the format of a hard drive, now obviously if you buy a console they come pre-formatted, so you don't actually get the full size that comes with the console. So I'm going to use this as an example. So if you're buying a hard drive for a PC and you put it in and you format it so you can use it for your own personal use, so if you have a 1TB hard drive, you have only the usage of a 931 gigs available to yourself to use on that hard drive. Just the way it formats, and that's just the way it works out. So then if you take the point that that's the formatted usage that you've left, plus then you have to put on an operating system, put on your apps, whatever you're using, put on your games, obviously that's going to take it down further, and so on and so forth. Right, so the next example I want to give, so I've got an Xbox One X. So whenever it comes pre-formatted with your operating system installed, sorry. Sorry, these are unscripted as usual, and I'm just talking off the cuff, so if I stumble or mutter, don't be panicking. So if you buy your new Xbox One X, so it comes pre-formatted with your operating system installed and whatever else they need. So if you take a 1TB format, it brings it down to 931 gig. Then whenever you add your operating system and whatever they have got reserved, so on the Xbox Series X, Xbox One X, sorry, you have only 781 gigs available for your usage. So you can see from 1TB when you format, you've got 931, and then when you format, or when they add in their operating system, whatever they need for caching, future updates and bits and pieces, you know, they need to reserve space. So there's another 100 and something gig. So that's another 150, would it be? Ish, give or take. So you have another, that as well used up. So like that's nearly a quarter of your drive gone already before you even use it. Now I'm not saying when the new consoles comes out that they're going to use as much or as less as that. You know what I mean? It's, you know, what the variation is going to be, but the format's still going to be the same. So you know, if you format a drive, so I think it's roughly, if you format from 1TB down and you have only 931 gigs, that's using 9%. You've lost 9% for the format. So if you take Sony's console, so you've got 825 gig and you lose 9% of 825 gig. Now I haven't done the maths, but I'll maybe put it up on screen. So you're going to have that less, plus then say, I'm not saying that Sony maybe uses as much or reserves as much as Xbox does. So say I said examples, I come up to 150 gig there, you would lose. So you've got potentially, say if you go between 100 to 150. So you know what I mean, because obviously these new consoles are going to need, you know, they're going to be running a lot, and there's, you know, they've got SSDs to pull in data in and out, but they need to have a big chunk to store that data when it's pulled, you know, to pull it in and out, you know, like for caching and stuff, things like that there. So I think that, say if you say 100 gig, do you know what, I'm going to just do this roughly here now, just for a moment, sorry about this, I should have had this prepared. So you have an 825 gig SSD and a minus 9%, so you're losing nearly 75 gig. So you've just got under 751 gig to use, and say minimum, just for example, say they need 100 gig for the operating system, so you have minus 100. So you're talking about 151 gig, give or take, obviously depending on how much they need. So this is just my thoughts, and this is just me doing a few wee calculations and seeing, you know what I mean. So if you've got the new consoles coming out and you've got an Xbox Series X, so you've got your console in that format and that reserving space, so you've got the potential of 681 give or take. So I don't know whether they're going to use more or less at this stage, but I'm just basing it roughly on what they have at the minute with the current generation console. So if you take a PlayStation and it's going to 825 gig external hard drive, you could have the potential of only having 650 gig, give or take. So if you go by Microsoft, then obviously you're going to have that wee bit more storage. Granted, when you format it down, it doesn't seem like a lot, but still 100 and... well, it's only an extra, what? 650. So an extra 130 gigs, say, roughly, you've got on top. But that's still, like, you know, a good couple of games, depending if they're AAA games or not, you know what I mean? That's the difference. Now, it could be less or more. I'm only sort of surmising at this point, but that's the potential. You know, you're going to get extra on that console. Obviously, the PlayStation's got a faster SSD than the Xbox's new consoles are coming out. But at the end of the day, you know, the only people that's going to make use of that hard drive in the PlayStation is the ones that's going to be developed exclusively for it. You know what I mean? If a third party company is making a game for the PC, the new PlayStation and the new Xbox, it's going to be based on the lowest common denominator. Obviously there's things you can do on a PC to make them speeds up, you know, by having the extra RAM and things like that there, but I don't know, it's, you know what I mean. So this new generation, if games get bigger, obviously they're trying to optimise them better, because the load-in speeds, you can load in quicker, that they don't have to the same amount of assets and data in the drive, you know, to pull it quicker. So, you know, they can potentially save space, but if the games are as big and as good as they say they're going to be, that, you know, they can have these massive worlds and they're not, no loading screens, so they're going to try and push the boundaries, make them bigger as possible. So the game size is probably going to go up, so the more space is better. But I know I'm saying the Xbox is going to have better space, but it's not much more as well at the same time, because if you have to buy an additional hard drive, we don't know anything about prices or what, you know, like obviously Microsoft are going down the route, so it's like a M.2 and a cartridge style thing that you put in the back of your console, made by Seagate. And PlayStation, obviously they're going to go down the route that you can put an M.2 slot in, but it has to be a certain size and it has to be a certain speed. You know, if that's not adhered to, then it's not going to work. And dear knows what prices these are going to be. So, you know, the space is going to be used up so much quicker, and we don't know what we're going to need for them. You know, the game sizes, and you know what games you're going to play on day one, how many games you're going to be able to put on to, you know, over the period of the time. You know what I mean? You're going to have to buy one of these hard drives quicker. You know, the other option is that I can see maybe people doing more so that they say I think works, is that if you've got an external hard drive, just a normal standard hard drive, not an SSD or anything, that you can use that as like a backup to store your games on when you're not using them, and then you can copy them back in and then use them again. That might be a more cost effective way for the consumer, you know, for the, you know, the person, you know, is buying the consoles, to, you know, instead of buying that dear drive, you know. But we'll have to just wait to see. Now this is just a wee video that I wanted to do, and just my thoughts on the hard drives that's coming out in the new consoles and the potential storage that might be on them. And you know, it's just a few thoughts, and now it's obviously take this with a grain of salt, because I don't know if actually what's going to be available. I'm only basing it off of, you know, just my current knowledge and what's on the current Xbox One X, you know. But you know, I enjoy talking about these things. We're going to do a bit more. And here, I hope you like this video. If you do, hit that like button, hit this, you know, subscribe to the channel. If you want to hear when the videos are coming out, just hit the bell notification and you'll be notified of the videos coming out. And here, I'll see you in the next video, and see you soon. Bye.